Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hey, it's Amber. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm here today with my co-hosts, Cindy and Kristen.
Hey.
Hi.
This week, we are going to be talking about holiday traditions. And with the holidays here, holidays are very important to all three of us. So we're all going to share some of our holiday traditions. If you have read my blog, you will see that I have talked about the holiday cookies that I make pretty much every year. And I know last week we talked about sugar-free recipes. These cookies are not sugar-free, although I am interested to maybe experiment in making them sugar-free. Which if I need taste testers, of course, because I don't make these sugar-free. Most of the people that I give these cookies to are not diabetic, because I make about 300 or so cookies around Christmas time, and I portion them out, and I make big containers for families if I'm going to their Christmas or my best friends' families, like Chris and Travis. I make big boxes of cookies for my friends, Stacy. But then I also make small boxes of cookies for my coworkers and my bosses. And I do this every year to the point where people expect me to show up with cookies. And occasionally, if I have time, I will make class sets of cookies for my students as well.
Ooh, I bet they like that.
And I make them for potlucks. I make them for Easter. I've made them for Halloween. I've made them for a baby shower before, and they're very simple cookies, and you can check out the recipe on my blog. It's a tradition that my grandma started. I mean, I know a lot of people have heard of cake cookies, but then again, I mentioned cake cookies to my boyfriend the other day, and he was like, "What?" And full disclosure, my boyfriend is a chef, so but he's not a baker. But I mentioned cake cookies to him, and he was just like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "You've never had cookies made out of cake mix?"
It's kind of fun to introduce someone to your new holiday tradition, though.
Yeah, it is fun. So he has volunteered to taste test all of my baking experiments in the future, because he loves sweets, and he has such a high metabolism that I'm jealous about it. Every time we go anywhere, he gets a big milkshake. Like we went to Sonic the other day, and he got one of their huge milkshakes, and I'm just like, how can you drink that? Dairy makes me sick.
It won't last long. My husband was that way too.
I know. I told him he needed to start working out, especially because
once they hit 40
I was about to say, I bet Travis was that way too, but he's got a little belly.
Yeah, he's got a little.
He's thin as rail, but he has a belly.
yeah, and so they gotta start working it out.
Well, I bet we have some holiday traditions that don't revolve around food. There's lots of holiday
there
traditions
are
out there.
And I want to be the first one to apologize for all of the holiday stuff that we've been talking about lately, but it is December, and it is one of our favorite times of the year, and it's hard to resist being able to talk about all the current stuff. So, but like Kristen says, we have a lot of holiday traditions that don't. Well, we have a lot that revolve around food too, but we have a lot that don't.
You don't have to celebrate the holidays to have these traditions. You do not have to take my cookies to a Christmas party. You can just eat the whole package yourself
And enjoy.
Well, and traditions don't have to be Christmas. They could be an Easter tradition or a Mother's Day tradition or
Hanukkah,
whatever.
We just have this holiday on the mind because it's right now.
Because it's that time. So, yeah, like Kristen was talking about, one of the non-food ones that we do at our house is that we sing for our presents. I know that sounds really weird. But my husband's family, they love Christmas caroling. And so one of the things after our Christmas dinner was we weren't allowed to open any Christmas presents until we sang carols. And everybody had to sing sing them, and every person in the family picked one and let it off. So you were basically singing for your presents. That's what they called it.
And I experienced that for the first time last year. And they gave me a funny hat, and they were like, "You have to pick a Christmas carol to sing." And I was like, "What?"
That came from my husband's niece-in-law, I guess is what you call her, Sharisa. She brought that tradition to our family, and it kind of stuck. So they did funny hats at Christmas. So we have all these funny little stockings and elf hats and things like that. And
even the dogs get hats.
Even the dogs get hats.
It has become actually its own side tradition, because when we are out and about, like CVS and Walgreens are the best. They have weird hats, and we always see them.
Buy some
so
hats.
Almost every year
we add new hats.
We
to the
add
collection.
a new hat, at least one.
And we have like dozens of hats in our collection that we.
Sometimes there's a fight over a particular hat.
I have a stocking that looks like a mermaid tail. I love it. Yeah, it's a Christmas stocking hat that looks like a mermaid. It's made like a stocking hat.
Oh, I see, like a Santa hat with
a Santa hat, but
brim.
Instead of being red Santa, it's fur, and it has sequined mermaid tail. I love it.
One of the things that we did too with the Christmas caroling was when I was really little, Mom and I made like Christmas carol books because they were just singing the songs off the top of their heads.
They had a few Christmas carol books that they had bought, but the family kept getting bigger and bigger, and there weren't enough books for everyone. So we worked together to make some carol books. It's not music; it's just
the words,
typed up words, because everybody knows the tunes. And there's like 20 pages of Christmas carols, and there's probably like 3 or 4 Christmas carols on every page. And they're all numbered, so that makes it easy. Somebody says, "Okay, I'm picking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's on page 5," and everybody can flip over and do it. But Kristen can tell you about the cool thing that we did to make the covers for the books, and how we added, and then we added to them also.
Yeah, when I was like 6, maybe 7, she had me draw on like
it was color
construction
books,
paper or color books.
Oh,
there's
no,
a
yours
whole
were
bunch of different ones.
Papers, yeah.
There's a bunch of different ones, but it's kind of like artwork through the ages. Yeah. So there's some that look like little scribbles with markers from when I was really little, and then there's some that I drew when I was in college, like in art school. So
and
it's
with
kind of fun.
Different Christmas designs, and that's the covers. And we print them all out and took them to like an Alpha Graphics or a Kinko's or whatever, and had them bound with the little spiral binding and covers on them.
Yeah, and I've already told my mom when she passes away, she better make sure those are willed to me.
and we got my son to add some to it too later on, because we kept needing more and more and more. So, yep. What other traditions do you have, Amber?
Well, I guess another tradition that my family does is that we have a certain game that we always play after we eat dinner, to the point where we have family tournaments. And the game is called Wahoo, if you've never heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of Sorry, if you know the game Sorry, was definitely inspired by Wahoo. It's a very old game, and everybody in the family has custom-made boards that my cousin Dave made.
We used to have those too when I was a kid.
So,
and y'all have like a set of marbles that
we have like certain sets of marbles. And so when my family gets together to play it, we are all very superstitious about our dice. So
that must be a family thing, because we are too.
Yeah, like we all have to pick like at least 5 different dice, and we all roll them to see how they roll. And if we're playing and our dice is not working out, we will switch dice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we all have certain colors that we use when we play. My mom's color was always blue, like a sky blue color, and my cousin Dave's color is usually always red and black. And then I always get like the shiny rainbow colored marbles. And so after dinner, and of course, with all the deaths that have happened in my family the last few years, we really haven't played it in a few years, but that was one of our traditions. After dinner, we would have like some kind of sport on the TV, and then we'd all bring our boards, set them up, however many people are playing. We would draw for partners because my mom and my cousin Stephanie were not allowed to be partners because they were just evil and cheaters. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Stephanie, if you're listening. She's probably thinking, no, Amber, you're the cheater, but no,
they are vicious.
She's the cheater.
I remember spending a holiday at your cousin's house. I don't even remember which one it was. It was like Thanksgiving or Easter or lunch or something, or maybe it was just a weekend. I don't know. But I remember like everyone was just sitting in various places in the room, and everyone had their boards out like, y'all are addicts.
Cool.
It was really cool.
And it's always fun introducing people that have never played to it. And then of course, if you're a new person in my family, you have to be initiated into it. Because I know, like, my cousin Stephen's wife, Allison, was initiated into it. And, of course, she brought her own games. We play a game called Nerds that her family likes to play, and that one involves cards. And so we have different games that we play. And, of course, my grandmother always wants to play skip bow. And so we all have, like, the tradition after we have our holiday meal, before we open presents, is that we play games. And then, of course, we also have another tradition when we do open presents, is that we do a rob your neighbor gift situation, because we have so many people in our family. And all of our gifts are homemade gifts. We do not go out and buy gifts. Now, for a few years, we even had made them food gifts. Like everybody had to make something or make a gift basket or something like that. But we don't go and spend the money on gifts unless it's materials to make gifts.
That's cool. I love hearing about other people's holiday traditions, because a lot of times when you're exposed to somebody else's traditions, you find things that you want to incorporate into your own family. Mm-hmm. And that was the case with me from my first husband's family. That would be Kristen's dad. And they had a very large family, and at Christmas time, they would all go to the matriarch's house, or whoever was hosting. It's usually the matriarch, and everybody stayed there for a couple of days or whatever and did all these things. And one of the things that they did, well, we actually have several of their traditions in our family that I just loved. So, and I still love my Carlson Luttrell family, because they've brought a lot into my life, namely my daughter, but a lot of other things too. But they, one of the things that we picked up from them was the tradition of Christmas pajamas. And they didn't open Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve. They had their dinner on Christmas Eve, which is what we also do now. And then on Christmas Eve, I'll let Kristen tell you about the other activities that they do. But one of the things that they did was the only presents they were allowed to open was their Christmas pajamas. And so I started doing that as well. And so now I buy everybody Christmas pajamas at Christmas, and we wrap them up. And we either go with a theme or a color. Usually we try. It's not always easy. We do it for everybody, girls, boys, whatever, except for the one exception, my fuddy-duddy husband, who says he has no use for pajamas because he has 2 pair, and that's enough. And so I have to buy him either sweats or socks or underwear or something like that, because he's boring. But I love you, Mark. But that's one of our favorite things. We get our pajamas and we open those, and we have our fun things that are going on in the evening and stuff. And then we all put our pajamas on, and we've been taking pictures in our Christmas pajamas. So I really love that, especially getting pictures of all the girls, because we're mostly girls together. And I call them all my girls, Amber and Crystal and Raina and Ashley and everybody that's part of the extended girls in the family. And we take a picture, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's one of the things that the Carlson Luttrell family does. The one that I was really like remembering growing up is the talent show. So after everybody eats, they would go put on their pajamas, open their pajama presents, and then everyone crowds around. She had this really big living room that was open in the middle, and so we would all be like lining up the walls basically, and the center of the living room was the stage. And there's just so many different talents in that family. We had singers, dancers, instrument players, you name it. My aunt would read a book to all the kids as her talent. I guess you could say it's not really a talent show, but it was like a variety show of.
But it's a real talent to be able to read a book, and I do know that absolutely. Diane was excellent. She's so who I learned how to read aloud from, because she was so good at reading aloud to the children, and from having her daycare, and she can hold the book upside down and read the story and give it all the inflections and animation that you can imagine that a daycare person would do. It was
so fun. And the kids loved that.
It's a great talent.
Then my cousin Becky, who's a dancer, like a real legitimate dancer, and she would choreograph this Christmas dance, and she'd get a bunch of the cousins together, and we would do like Jingle Bell Rock or something like that, and dance. We would practice that for days before Christmas Eve. And then I remember one time I had just been playing my violin for maybe a year or so, and my cousin Becky's then husband's father was also a violinist. So I remember calling him up and saying, "Will you play Jingle Bells with me?" And I was like 13 at the time, and he got up there and we just played my little sheet music from school. And it was nice because I got to share with those that couldn't make it to like my recitals or anything like that. They could see my talent. My uncle played his trombone. Yeah, trombone. I just remember it was a horn. He was really good at it, man. And he would play something. And I remember my great grandmother actually wrote a Christmas story that involved all of the grandkids and the great grandkids, and she read it out loud, and that was really cool. So that was like a special fun thing that they did every year that I've always thought, man, if we had more time on Christmas Eve, like we'd just keep packing in more things, fun things to do.
I wanted to do that one too, but it's really hard.
Yeah. So
another one, we do board games too. I'm getting the signal that we're going. We're running out of time. There's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, and we want to know. We want to know what your traditions are. So please, let's continue the conversation on social media. Check out our Facebook, check out our blog, check out our different websites. We want you to tell us what your family traditions are. And maybe we can, borrow and share some family traditions.
Oh, yeah.
Spice them up.
Actually, my blog on, I believe it's on Saturday coming up. My blog is actually about a borrowed tradition. I've stolen everybody's traditions. So come check out my blog this week, and you can see what my tradition is as well.
Okay, and don't forget to like and subscribe on social media. We'd also like to offer special thanks to Red Door Studios, Creative Audio Tech, Mark Murray, and Rimshot Graphics, and this is all for our music, gear, and graphics. Also, next week, we will be talking about our celebrity hall passes. So tune in next week.
Yeah,
it's a non-holiday one, y'all. So make sure you
check
it in, so we don't beat you to death with holidays. We obviously want to throw in some other stuff. So we're really starting to expand on our scope, obviously, of the different things that we want to talk about.
Well,
so this one is one of our fun ones.
The holidays are almost over.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.